What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Bitcoin analysis. And not only Bitcoin today, we also look at the three trending tokens of the moment. We go straight into the crypto bubbles for that to find something that is trending today. Basically, the whole market is in red today, and we pick out the three biggest losers in this case. TIA, PI, and ENA are the biggest losers of the day here, according to the crypto bubbles. And that's exactly what we will be looking at in the charts today. And then, of course, also look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently moving downwards to that key support level again here in the 100 to 101k range. If you also want to check out the crypto bubbles and also get a full market overview, make sure to check out the crypto loop here on bitcoineasy.io. Here you get everything from latest news, crypto news, financial news, the global economic calendar, news from X, and a selection of our favorite traders from X as well, followed by the market overview here where you have the crypto bubbles, the fear and greed index, a bunch of very relevant charts for the crypto markets as well as a performance monitor here of the entire market. And then at the bottom here, the Bitcoin indicators based on oscillators and moving averages, followed by the charting tool fully integrated from TradingView, so you can chart anything that you find above there right away. Also take it into full screen and take a snapshot for future reference and to share on social media. Right, guys, now let's go straight into the charts and check out Bitcoin first, and then we have a closer look at these three tokens that we just found in the crypto bubbles. Okay, guys, and before we get started, quick reminder here again, Pathos Crypto over on X. Follow me there to get my full analysis and to stay up to date with everything I do in and around crypto. Right, guys, no more time to lose now. Let's go straight into the Bitcoin chart and see what's going on here. We're starting out on the daily chart. There we can see very clearly that we once again here in the key area that we pointed out the other day as our bottom for the correction that we had a couple of days ago here, where Bitcoin got rejected at the 105k mark and then ended up going down here towards the 38.2 on the Fibonacci retracement, which is still the same here from the swing low to the current swing high. And there we have the 38.2, a key level to hold here. Once again, the same thing here, guys. If we see a daily close below that 38.2 and even a 4-hourly close, which we will get into in a second, then we have a very, very clear sign here that the price is moving down towards the 61.8 to the 98k range. And there we see alignment also with the prior range highs here. So 98 to 97k is really the most important level here for Bitcoin to find a bounce in. So we can also continue in the structure here. We can see clearly that Bitcoin has been printing higher lows and higher highs here in this uptrend. And therefore, we want to find a nice bounce here in that area to continue with another high low and have another crack at our current highs. And then to the upside, of course, the key number to break here is right around 104,800 bucks. Anything above there then would take us up towards the 106k level. That is important here on a closing basis. You can see our previous cycle highs here on a closing basis right around 106,200. Anything above there would then send Bitcoin to new all-time highs. If we look at it on a daily chart from an oscillator perspective, then we can see here that the RSI now has lost the moving average here after coming out of overbought territory, and the stochastic momentum here is turning down as well towards that moving average, also indicating that it's coming out of overbought territory. So there's a big potential here that we see a little bit more downside for Bitcoin. And then once again, we have to keep our eyes open on those key levels in the 98 to 97k range. As we know, if that level breaks, then we come down here towards the 94 to 93k range, and then it starts to look pretty bearish, and then it becomes very probable that we are moving sideways and down throughout the summer, and then the bull market will continue sometime in autumn or winter. So the bullish scenario here, once again, guys, bounce in the 98 to 97k region and then continuation upwards there. And then it becomes, of course, important as well that we break the prior high here at 104,800 on a closing basis. As of course, in an uptrend, we always put more emphasis on the highs than the lows. But if we start here now printing a lower low and then followed by a lower high, then we have very clear confirmation here that this trend is over and that we're going down into our consolidation phase. And that is very likely then throughout the entire summer. Right, guys, and then we have the 3-day chart closing today as well. And then from that perspective, we can see here that that could start looking like a lower high on the higher time frames. And yeah, guys, as you know, you always have to be ready to pivot, although I think the bottom is in for now and that we are moving further up here in this cycle. There's always a scenario on the table that we could go slightly low before that happens. And then this is the key area, of course, that's all decisive. If that would break, then that would be very clear indication that we're moving into a bear market. But for now, everything is still looking very bullish here in this cycle, especially if you look at the larger time frames, the weekly chart and above. Everything is still pointing in the direction that we're moving up here and looking for new all-time highs for Bitcoin still before we then go down to our bear market lows, potentially sometime in 2026. Of course, guys, I update you on both these charts, the 3-day chart and the daily chart that are closing simultaneously today later on X to see exactly how it looks over there, where we found our bounce or if we found our bounce, and then update you if the probability is switching to the downside if we broken certain levels that we just spoke about. And now let's look at it on the smallest time frame here on the 4-hourly chart, and we're now at our key support level. This is the exact level that we've been speaking about yesterday here, in alignment with the prior closing lows here, the 78.6 and the 50 EMA here on the 4-hourly chart. So we're right on the line here, and this is exactly where we want to find a bounce now. There's potentially that we move down here to the 38.2, which is from the retracement here from the swing low to the current swing high, and get a bounce from there. But really important that we close back above here right around $101,700. Anything below there on a 4-hourly closing basis gives us very clear indication that we're moving down here towards the 61.8 on that retracement, which comes in alignment here with the prior range highs, and therefore very, very strong support level also from the perspective that we had on the daily chart and the 3-day chart. That is a very likely support level here for Bitcoin. And then once again, if we get back down here towards the 200 SMA here on the 4-hourly chart, then we get back down here as well towards these lows here previously, and then we could likely set up here for something like a head and shoulder pattern or a dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it, and that would take us down to lower price targets then. This is of course something we spoke about last week here when we were still up in this area, and where I was telling you guys that it's very likely that we see at least a short-term pullback now for Bitcoin, and that the 100k area to 101k area here is a very likely bottom for a short-term bounce, but that the logical level for this correction is more likely to be in the 98 to 97k range, that we find a bounce there and then continue upwards from there. Right, guys, of course I keep my eyes on this chart as well, the 4-hourly chart, throughout the day. I will update you on anything here, especially because we're in such a tight spot now. We see we still have 2 hours left on this candle, but we're right here on the line, and we really want to see signs now of a bounce. Otherwise, we're going down here towards 98 and 97k. Now, guys, now let's look at these other tokens here for Trending Thursday. Of course, there we always find the trending ones. We looked at them here in the crypto loop already, in the crypto bubbles, and the ones we're looking at today are the worst performers of the day at this current time here. And the first one here, the biggest drop, down about 25% today, is PIUSD, Pi Network here. Of course, a very short chart we see here on the daily chart. We basically have no data here. It only tracks back towards February 25, so not much we can see here. We can see here the 50-day SMA, that's basically it. We're sitting right on top of the prior highs here. So from this perspective here, from this chart, with the data that we have, this is of course a key level here that should hold now. Anything below there could potentially then bring Pi here towards at least the previous lows, or potentially even to new lows. Very hard to say with these kind of charts. Of course, there's almost no data. And then to the upside, you can see here that that was the other key area of interest basically that we can find here in the charts. There's only a couple or 3 of them with significant touch points. Here we have another one, which is coming basically from the price action here in this area. And there we saw that that was the exact point where Pi here got rejected and now moved down to this area of interest. And if we take a Fibonacci retracement here, let's see what the levels look like from that perspective here, from the swing low to the current swing high. There we can see as well that we're sitting right on the line of the sand on the 78.6. So this is what we want to see here from a bullish perspective, to get a bounce in this area. Otherwise, the probability is here that it at least goes down here to the 50-day SMA, and more likely then to revisit the prior lows. Of course, depending a lot on what Bitcoin does as well now, if it can find a bounce in the key area right now, or goes down towards the 98 to 97k level, then we can go here down towards somewhere in the range of 75 to 74 cents here for Pi as well, and then hopefully form a bottom there and continue upwards from there as well. I have no fundamental knowledge about Pi Network or anything. So then the next one here, Celestia, PIUSD, and there we have a bit more info. This tracks back all the way to November 2023. And what can I tell you guys? This chart here is absolute crap. You can see here that 2024 printed an all-time high basically right after the token got released, and ever since it's just downwards from there. We marked the key area of interest here. Now that is the key resistance level. Of course, we're basically right where it started here as far as the support goes. You can see here right back in November 23. This is where the price action started here, moved up massively from there, and now came all the way back to the bottom. So if you have some inside information that there's something in the pipelines here for Celestia, then potentially good area to buy down here. But we can see that the support is coming now from the 50-day SMA, And here, if of course Bitcoin continues downwards, then we can expect another visit here of the bottom area between $2.50 and $2.30 somewhere. And then to the upside, we can very clearly see that this is the key area of interest here, that the bulls want to break right in the range between $3.80 and $4.20, which then also aligns here perfectly with the 200-day SMA, so key resistance area. Anything above there would then take Celestia here up towards at least $6.80, towards somewhere even in the range of $9. So guys, don't hold your breath here. I can't really give you any data on this either. I have no clue about Celestia or any of the fundamentals here. I can only tell you what I see in the chart, and this chart is about as ugly as it gets here, and we have seen nothing positive here since the launch and the massive pump here basically. So definitely something that I would never get involved unless here we start breaking this key area and I start getting some information that there's something in the pipeline here for Celestia. Otherwise, nothing that I'm interested in personally. Now the next one in line here, the last one for today, Athena. Of course, guys, at this point I also have to mention none of this is financial advice, purely for educational purpose. Here we have another chart that is pretty ugly. Once again, we failed here to print a new all-time high, when of course most good tokens, most strong tokens here printed new all-time highs between December and January this year. Massive downtrend ever since, and now we are at a key area of interest here. You can see with most touch points basically here for Athena in the range between 52 cents and 47 cents basically here. You can see here this is where it started, and we had a rejection in that area. Many of them turned into support here, tried to hold support here once again, and now once again here resistance. So this is the key area that we want to see a close above. That would then take Athena back up here to the range between 60 cents and 67 cents here basically, the next key area of interest. And then above there we could potentially see a move to the previous cycle highs and the current all-time high here. But also another one that I'm absolutely not interested in. I have no fundamental information on this thing, and as far as the chart goes, pretty damn ugly, guys. Before we see anything here above 65 cents, I would say that this is absolute trash. So unless someone would gift it to me, then I would hold on to it here and see if we could get it back up here towards the previous cycle tops when everything else starts pumping. But really nothing that I would even bother to do any research on here or get involved at all. So yeah, guys, we're going to continue doing these trending Thursdays until we potentially find some charms there to add to the long-term portfolio as well. But for now, nothing special there. Of course, I'm always open for suggestions. So if you want to see one of your tokens charted on one of the trending Thursdays, then get down in the comment section, show me some tokens, and I'll make sure to look at them in the future as well. And then potentially also bring out a segment where we look at some tokens that you guys suggest. We can do that once or twice a week as well. I'm open always to new ideas, and happy if you guys start engaging in the comments as well. And let me know what else you want to see here on the channel. Right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Just a quick reminder again, make sure to follow me over on X. This is how you stay up to date with my analysis around the clock. Now, of course, I'll keep you updated on what's going on with Bitcoin today. We see that this is a key spot here, and it's very, very likely that we can see some more downside here, and that 97 to 98K then becomes a very decisive level here, and really where we want to see a bounce from if we don't find a bounce here in the current range right now. Keeping it short and simple today, focused mainly on Bitcoin. Hopefully next Thursday everything is green in the charts again and we find some overperformers there that potentially get me excited then, and they become something that I might add to the portfolio for the long term. But for now, everything crap, and we keep our eyes open. And of course, guys, let me know, guys, what you are buying, what you're interested in, what you're adding to the portfolio, and then in the future we look at those tokens as well. Now, guys, I'm out of here, and as always, happy trading and see you soon.